Pet owner will tell you that they love spoiling their animals, but there are some common things that you have in your house that can actually be pretty dangerous, even deadly for them. We have Dr. Ambika Vaid with us. She's an integrative veterinarian, and we thank you so much for joining us through Zoom to tell us more about this. A lot of people love their pets, and sometimes it's really hard to say no to them, but sometimes you should, right, doctor?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so let's talk about those things that can really put them in a dangerous situation.
Yeah, so of course, the most common thing we see is chocolate. Chocolate contains methylxanthines that can cause vomiting, diarrhea, and liver failure. Other things that we've seen in practice are marijuana, especially as it's been more legalized. We've seen symptoms of that in dogs that have gotten into it. So that can really mean more neuroscience, slowing down, unable to walk, losing control of your bladder. Lilies, if you have cats at home, lilies are extremely toxic to cats. They can cause acute kidney injury that can progress to chronic kidney failure. Human medications is another one that's maybe in our top 5 list. Human medications, whether they're ranging from over-the-counter or prescription medications, can cause a severe amount of reactions based on what they've gotten into. And lastly, garlic and onions. So those are things that maybe you're giving to your pet over time, but it can actually cause anemia severe enough that your pet may need blood transfusions.
Oh my goodness. So certainly you want to avoid that. How do you know that your pet is in trouble if they've ingested some of these things?
Yeah, absolutely. The most common symptoms that you see are vomiting, diarrhea, loss of appetite. You may also see neuroscience depending on what they've gotten into, right? So maybe they're walking a little bit slower, walking a little bit differently. Maybe they're nauseous and they're vomiting because of that. They're losing control of their bladder. And then also abdominal pain. Are they uncomfortable? Can they not get comfortable? Those are usually signs that something's wrong.
So, doctor, if you start to notice these things, should you immediately head to the vet and to the emergency center, or are there
That
things
is
you
a
can do at
great
home?
question. So first, you need to call the ASPCA Pet Poison Hotline. They will direct you to where you need to go. And usually this step is required by veterinarians. And so you'll call this line, they'll make a case for your pet, and they'll determine how serious it is based on how much of what they got into. And then they'll tell you, yes, go to the emergency, or they'll give you tips to help your pet at home.
And I would imagine during that recovery process, you need to probably nix some of the things that you've been using that were okay before to help them get back on the mend, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So usually veterinarians will recommend a bland diet when you get home. So, that can be a range of a protein source and rice, just boiled and bland. You can add pumpkin puree if your pet also has diarrhea. A probiotic is a great thing to add in as well. A powdered probiotic like Badlands Ranch Super Gut Biotic is a great thing to just mix into their food because they're not going to have much of an appetite, so you want to make it really easy for them. These things are really going to help your pet recover a lot faster.
Yeah, some great advice. And if you're letting a friend or a family member keep your pet for, any amount of time, I would imagine it'd be good to go ahead and give them some of these tips as well so that they don't run into trouble when they're elsewhere.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Vaid, for joining us. Great advice. A lot of people, they treat their pets like babies, and sometimes we might want to give them something that could put them in trouble. So I'm glad that you're giving us these cautionary tales to let us know that we got to make sure we're watching out for them. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a good
Thank
one.
you so much. Have a good one.
All right, News 3, always.